portion of the Chad Benson Show is brought to you by, powered by, because very powerful around here. NCA, National Certified Alarms. No long-term contracts. License number 645. That's the license number. What's up, boys? How you doing? You ready to go?
Yeah, let's do this.
All right, let's do this. We don't have much longer. We're off after tomorrow for 2 days, as we are every week. Hi, Ken.
You mean for 2 minutes?
For 2 minutes. That's right. For 2 minutes. But we don't have the Sunday scaries because we like our jobs.
I don't have that anymore.
No.
I don't have to wake up at stupid o'clock.
No, you don't. Ken, I was watching that. I saw that NES had spent about, a quarter of $1 gazillion on a text line thing. Did you see that?
I did not.
Yeah. They spent a lot of money on a new communication system that failed to communicate.
Oh, is that the one that was apparently telling people that their power was restored? Then they would get home and find that it was not restored.
My wife she goes, because I was talking about it today, and she goes, oh, God. She goes, they text me 30 times to tell us our power was on. And was it? No, it wasn't. I said, yeah. Well, it didn't work. So Bell wants to have a pool here. All right, let's talk about the pool here for somebody's firing a resignation. Bell wants us all to put a little money into this thing so we can all be rich.
Yeah, I think the three of us, we do $20 a pop, and we make our guesses as to when the termination of Teresa Broyles Applin is announced, or the resignation. So
I'll let you boys put
now
20
you're playing
bucks
too.
in.
So
No.
I'm going to pick for him.
All right, you put 20 in for me.
I will. You pick a day. I'm putting 20 in.
I just cover the news, boys.
Here's what I'll do is we'll pick our dates.
Yeah.
And we don't have to do it right now. And then I'll send each of us, I'll send an email to both of you as to what your picks were so we remember. And then I'll just save the email.
Mine is May 1st. I've already got it down. May 1st.
Well, I don't have my email open.
It doesn't matter.
Right
May
now.
1st.
I'm with you boys.
Yeah. That's what, and she's going to resign. She'll resign a month or so before it comes out. That's my take right there. I think
She deserves to be fired so badly, though. I don't want it to be a resignation.
But remember, in this world of municipalities and city and state and all of this stuff, nobody gets fired. They just...
That doesn't mean I can't want it.
Yeah. No, you can want it, man. Wish it, want it, hope it, whatever it is you want to do. Okay? Okay? Just do it. I give Donald Trump a lot of crap. Not, because, well, that's what you guys think. I just talk about issues. Everybody else gets a little upset about that. I would say, and this is the stuff that drives me crazy because how much I do want him to succeed. I was watching some of that Tony Lamas interview that he was doing, that
Tom Yamas?
Tom Yamas, Tony Lama. That's what I kept calling him because I was joking. It's Tony Lamas. But I was watching some of that interview, and he said afterwards, and nobody else really talking about it. The minute the interview was done, Trump picked up the phone and called Savannah Guthrie and said, whatever you need, we're here. Whatever you need, I'm here. What can I do for you? And she's like, please don't send Kash Patel. But that right there.
That was a joke, right?
Or Bondi. Don't send her either. Whoever you think of those, don't send any of them. But it shows me, that's what frustrates me, because he picked up the phone and made that call. He didn't have to do that, right? He didn't.
Well, it was like when Ozzy died. He didn't have to call Sharon.
He didn't have to call Sharon, right? He didn't have to do any of those things. And that's it's a lot of times with Trump, he always wants to appear to be so strong, and I get it. We want a guy that's strong and that's charging all the time. But that's what I mean when I talk about the empathy he shows a lot of times. It's behind the closed doors, the stuff that you don't see. And I thought that was cool that he did it. And I was even, I was watching, Karl Rove on ABC said, I called him the night he won the second time. And he goes, I expect to go to voicemail. He goes, he picked up the phone and he talked to me for like 10 or 15 minutes, knowing that we battle all the time. I mean, that's the kind of guy he is. And I can guarantee if something happens with Caitlin Collins, he'd be the first one to pick up the phone and make that phone call and say, what do you need? What can I do for you? So and that's the frustrating part sometimes. I'm like, man, you make things harder than you should. And that whole Savannah Guthrie thing is just getting weirder. It's weirder. It was weirder to see the three of them and everybody go, and so your husband, did he have anything to do with it? Why are you here?
Have they made any comment has the police made any comment on them with him as a suspect?
No, it's TMZ that's kind of making that kind of comment, and several others have said stuff, and it's just the whole thing is strange. But the proof of life, though, the fact that they said that we want proof of life. I saw that movie. That was a good movie. Is it Meg Ryan and Russell Crowe? Is that his name? Russell Crowe, I think it was.
I think so. I think that's right.
So proof of life. That's what they want. So it is a weird thing, and it's become not just a national story; it's a world story. It's a world story because they're covering it, and because she's supposed to be in the at the Olympics, and they're covering it there as well, not just on NBC, but the other people on like BBC and all that stuff. They're all covering. I had friends who are over there in Europe, and they've texted me and said, what the heck's this all about? And I said, I don't think anybody knows. That's just it.
It's like movies we've watched.
Yes.
This is a real life drama that is playing out.
The proof of life thing is interesting because, they are not saying there's a ransom or anything, but they kind of said, hey, we'd like to know our mom's okay. And like, what was it? Sunday was the last time that her pacemaker pinged?
Yeah, that's what I understand. It was like 2:00 in the morning.
Yeah. And she said, Savannah Guthrie said her mom has, like, it's not just her heart. Like, she's got, I think, bad arthritis, the hips, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah, she's in terrible pain, according to what Savannah said.
Oh, good. It's just so weird when you think about it. So weird. And just the complete disappearing of her. And now there's nothing. Because that's why, I don't want to, you don't want to think the worst, but it's hard not to, especially if she's that sick. But if it was somebody that knew who she was, did they get her medicine? And they just assumed that they didn't get her medicine. You know what I mean? If they knew that she was sick all the time and she needed certain things, if you were that close to her, then you would have probably grabbed her medicine.
Yeah, either that or Savannah's gone through the house and her mother's medicine is still there.
Yeah, it's just it's joking.
I mean, I don't even know. Have they let any family members in the house?
I don't know if they have or not. I don't even know. That's a great question. I don't know if they've let anybody in the house at all, or if it's still the active crime scene. You would think by now the active crime scene would have been cleaned up, but it's hard to tell. And it's just a weird thing. An 84-year-old woman being snatched right out of her own home.
Yeah.
And at the time it happened too. That's another thing. So that goes from being we didn't think she was home. Well, obviously it's 2 a.m. You thought somebody was home, right? So and the conspiracy theories are phenomenal. Nancy Grace did not take her. Somebody said Nancy Grace took her. Nancy Grace doesn't like me, so it doesn't matter. I watched some of the Olympics earlier today, guys. I just want to say.
That was the power on?
Power was on, but the debacle is spectacular for the hockey. It is extra spectacular. The arena was supposed to seat 16,000, 11,800 at best. The ice is okay. Nobody's sure about the dressing rooms. And but they also said there is no plan B for hockey. So if stuff starts to go sideways, they don't have another arena to play in.
So if the lights go out,
this is it.
Game's called.
Oh, my. Who gave it to? First of all, if you guys know anything about the Olympics, never bid on the Olympics. It is a cash cow for them, and they usually ruin your city. There should be like there should be 3 or 4 countries that should be we could host every Olympics, every World Cup, everything. Why? We have all the infrastructure for it. We've got the $1 billion stadiums. We've got all of the stuff. We have all of the infrastructure. But if you're trying to build stuff that's not going to be there, and they demand stuff like, they want their own, how we have HOV lanes? They want their own Olympic lanes in and around the city where only the people that work for the Olympics can drive in. That is crazy.
That's what I want on 24 between here and Murfreesboro.
Oh, you know what I saw?
But only for me.
You know what I saw yesterday?
Who's that?
They've got a drone made for people, and it's It's not even, it's like part drone, part like jet ski that flies in the air, which is super safe, I'm sure.
Yeah, I think I saw something like that too.
It's like, and my whole thought process, and I thought, oh, that'd be pretty cool. Right? Like I could land, I mean, I know I'm only 700 steps from here, but I would fly it in one day. Would I? But you don't need a license. Well, this is the other good thing. You don't need a license for it. That's pretty cool.
So it's a drone that it's like a jetpack.
Yeah, it's the same guy that did the jetpack in L.A. that flies around and scares everybody.
Right.
He's got this. It looks like one of those smart cars, right? It's got it looks like skis on it, and it takes off and flies around. It is so awesome. That is, I mean, I'd probably try it once. Once I would try it. A lot of fun stuff to get to today. We got some serious stuff as well. The weather outside, a little chillier than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, what's going on with this thing? I mean,
Weather Wizard, what is happening?
Let's see here.
30.
It's 29 degrees. 29 degrees. I thought we were supposed to be above freezing this week.
I did too. Tomorrow's supposed to be 54. That's definitely that's close to flip-flop weather.
I can do that.
Monday,
yes,
64. Tuesday, 69.
Yes, sir. Now we're talking.
That you're right. And then watch the next 3 days after that. That's going to be minus 23. With a chance of frost. So, but there's lots of rain coming in the next week or two, which I'm fine with if it's, it's going to be drizzles. But today was definitely very chilly. Okay, here's a question for you guys. Honest question, guys. You can answer this at home, too. I'm walking in today, as I do. And I walk by that, what is it the gym called over there? Orange Theory? And the girls all walk out, right? And I don't know who they're dressing for at the Orange Theory. But they all walk by me at 100 miles an hour, and then they're preening in front of me, and I'm just trying to keep my head down because I don't want to be the creeper looking up, seeing where I'm going, and then I get honked at because I'm not paying attention because I don't want to look up.
So somebody's probably recording you too.
Probably, yeah, that's it.
Waiting to post it.
Oh,
look at this sicko!
Yeah, look at him. Look at these girls. Oh my Lord, that's what am I supposed to do? Again, who's that for? You're working out. Oh, Lordy, Lordy, Lordy. We got some fun news today, some Super Bowl stuff we'll talk about. The Olympics. We'll talk a little about the Olympics because not only is there a crazy story. Remember when I told you guys about the crotch stuff for the ski jumpers? I now know the whole story, and it is crazier than you could ever think of. It is. And how they're detecting it is even crazier. Welcome to the modern Olympiad. We'll talk a little bit about that, this week, which wasn't talked about much, a 22-year-old in New York ended up getting a $2 million settlement for transitioning and then transitioning back. And when you hear her story, it's crazy. And then I'm going to compare it to what it used to be like when people thought they were in the other sex body. And this is a tragic story. And a bunch of other good stuff on the way as well. Reach out to us across all of our social media. We love hearing from you. We're on the Rumble. We're on the Twitch. I've never been on the Twitch to see us. I got to do that.
It's no great shakes. You're not going to get excited about it.
But I want to go on there. When are we going to play our Atari games? We're also on the Facebook. We're on the Twitter. And, of course, YouTube as well. So reach out to us across all of that. Like and subscribe. We appreciate it. Chad Benson, Super Talk 99.7. That is so disturbing.
Yeah.
So disturbing.
I'm sure the passerby who saw that's not going to get that out of their mind anytime soon.
No, that is, and not only that, the view, but, and this sounds horrible too, the smell.
Yep.
Has to be that is so absolutely disturbing that, you don't know if he was trying to warm himself out in the cold and something happened or if somebody did it deliberately.
Right.
Well, I know this is going to sound kind of gross, but I really hope it was him trying to warm himself or doing drugs versus somebody coming up and just setting the guy on fire.
Yeah,
right.
Because an accident means it's an accident and there's nobody else out there that may be like, you know what, I enjoyed doing that. We should try that again tonight.
Right. I mean, with everything that's kind of going around, right now, like in North Carolina than, on the trains in Chicago.
New York.
Remember
that?
People being stabbed or set on fire.
That guy in New York, what the hell was that?
Right.
Just light somebody on fire? Yeah, the one out, too, was it the...
I think it was Chicago.
Or there was one in Chicago. What was the other one? The one in...
That was New
Colorado.
York.
Remember Colorado?
Oh, yeah, Colorado, yes.
Yeah, but that's just in a wheelchair. Like you said, I'm with Bell. You hope, and it sounds horrible to say, but that it was an accident rather than a madman roaming the streets.
Right.
Because that ain't good at all, kids. That is not good at all. That is just disturbing. Any news on the fire out there at the lake? Because I lost my boat. I lost my boat. Sunk. I let somebody borrow my houseboat. My pontoon boat.
And they did you a favor.
Oh, God. I showed Belle the what was it? I showed Belle the fire, all of the pictures and it was so crazy.
Oh, it was. I mean, it's like, it looked like it was sort of contained in maybe 3 or 4 berths, but the smoke that was coming out of it was just black and thick.
Yeah, it was, well.
A lot of people's summers were ruined.
Or
right there.
Or kids, guess
or
what?
Maybe it's
unfortunately, Dad lost the boat. We go on once every 8 months, but you know what? We're all going to Hawaii. No, we can't rule out spontaneous combustion. You're correct. I'm going to rule it out on this one, but
I'm sure most, if not all, of those boats were insured.
I hope so.
You would, you would hope.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I would. The first thing I'm doing is I'm going to go find out who insured their boat on Saturday.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez, Chad. So, guys, we talked about the Olympics, and I thought I had heard all of the best cheating ever. But the ski jumpers now have to have microchips in their grundle area because they were injecting the stuff that made their junk bigger and or putting clay in it around there, so they were forced to wear bigger suits. And the bigger suits gave them more lift, which allowed them to fly further. Somebody is so into ski jumping that much, like, it'd be great? Wiener steroids.
I thought all steroids were wiener steroids.
Well, usually it's the opposite, though. So, but that is how crazy it is. So now they had to go and put microchips in all of their suits and I guess their draws to make sure that they're not cheating.
Their britches?
Their britches. He's not all of him is on steroids. Oh, Lordy Lord. That is just, I've never thought to myself, I want to cheat that bad to win. I just won't. I couldn't even imagine that. I could not imagine that I would go to that much of a desperation to do that. And let's be real. Who's the most famous ski jumper in the world? Eddie the Eagle and the dude who fell in the Wild World of Sports. Remember that guy?
I do not.
The agony of defeat.
Wipeout?
And he wipes out and crashes into like a cabin. Yeah, those are the two most famous ski jumpers of all time.
And he's famous for having absolutely flubbed it.
Yeah, and the guy from Nigeria or Kenya who was going to ski jump, they sent him there. He'd never ski jumped, and they stopped him before he went down because they realized he's not been on snow. He's going to die. And we can't have that at the Olympics. Only in bobsled. All right, coming up, talk a little bit about immigration. Cato puts out this interesting report about immigration.
Cato Kalin?
No. He's still in somebody's house. Maybe they should look and see with Cato what's going on with Mrs. Savannah Guthrie's mom. And we'll talk a little bit about the trans issue when it comes to the lawsuits that are coming. And this is what changes the game in that world. This is the Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7.
Kid from Australia who's wound up being a professional.
I like how many people are texting and go, hey, I'm asking for a friend. What was that stuff they're injecting for their penis? Asking for a friend. And then they're like, where would you get that? I'm like, Germany. Usually it's Germany. Any weird stuff like that, it's Germany.
Maybe somewhere in South America, too.
Yeah, something like that. Somewhere like that. That's, God, it's just so. I love Kamala. What do you think Kamala's, her pitch is going to be to America? Yeah, couldn't stand me in 24. You're going to hate me in 28.
I don't think she'll ever be that honest.
Who's advising her? Oh. Who's advising her? Honestly. Just, I don't know, go live in Malibu and go sit on boards, a bunch of boards for whatever. Go eventually be the president of the UC systems, which is a big deal. It's a massive deal. And, that's the most powerful group of colleges maybe in the country as far as like state and university and stuff like that. That's the UC system is great. Go run that and stay out of politics. The thought that she's going to. Ukraine is a country in Europe? I don't know. We're asking you. It sounded right.
She's not a smart one. I mean, you can hate Trump. If you really hate Trump, that's fine. That's your belief system. But if you think that she is smart or capable, you're nuts.
Yeah, there's no way. I mean, you might have voted against Trump, but you didn't vote for her. There's no way you voted for her. No way. She didn't even vote for her. She's like, I know me. So that'll be interesting to see.
Nobody voted for her in the primary.
Yeah, that right there should tell you everything you need to know. You were the senator from the state of California, and in the primaries, you were behind Elizabeth Warren, Bernie Sanders, gonorrhea. She's never
chicken dinner.
She never once earthquakes, fires. I don't think she got one. Did she get any votes?
I don't think she got any votes in the primary.
No, because they read the first time. Remember, she dropped out before Iowa.
Yeah, she was out.
She made $25 million the first day she launched. And then she didn't make $1 after that. So yeah, that's a good luck to you guys.
I can imagine what can be and be unburdened by what has been.
Exactly.
You know?
Hey, this is the most election of our lifetime.
I thought everyone was that.
This is the most election of our lifetime. That is just, she's unburdened by what has been. So, Abigail Shrier used to write for the New York Times, and Abigail decided, a lot of people had come to her and said, hey, you need to write this at the New York Times, but they were all afraid to do it because obviously it's how should we say this? It's a little left. And so she decided, I'm going to take this on. And the book came out in 2020, and it's called Irreversible Damage. And she decided to take it on. And the book is great. And I remember talking to her about that when it first came out. And it's all about the transgender stuff, and the craze that was going on, and how it exploded out of nowhere. And so we had this long conversation. She was on my national show when the book first came out, and she was doing her tour. And one of the things, as we talked about all this stuff, first things first is, we're all kind of near the same age, that Gen Z-ish, Gen X kind of world. And stuff that in our generation, right, in my generation, your generation, may have been an eating disorder, may have been cutting, that cry for help, became activist-led lunacy. And I told her, this will stop when they have to pay money for what they did. And it finally happened in New York, the first of what will be many lawsuits, and the big one's coming later on this year in California. But this youngster got herself $2+ million. And the only place covering it was the Free Press. And Benjamin Ryan, he was the only one in the studio, in the trial whatsoever to watch every day or paid any attention to it.
Well, it's hard to know exactly what they were thinking, but what they were convinced by was that the psychologist and the plastic surgeon didn't communicate well with one another. And the psychologist in particular was faulted for being sloppy and essentially being rushed in his care of this girl. It was only about 11 months between the time where she first socially transitioned at the age of 15 and a half, and she ultimately had her breasts removed at age 16 and a half.
Okay, did you guys hear that? The months. I want you guys to listen to this again.
And essentially being rushed in his care of this girl, it was only about 11 months between the time where she first socially transitioned at the age of 15 and a half, and she ultimately had her breasts removed at age 16 and a half.
That is insane. So I'm going to break down for you guys when they first started doing this up and through the 90s. It had changed a little bit, but not too much. What you used to have to go through if you were going to actually go on hormones and eventually have the surgery.
There was actual psychological protocols where you had to live as the sex you considered yourself to be for a whole year.
Oh. First thing you have to do is you have to go to your doctor and then you have to say, I am this, and this is what I believe. So, okay. Then you had to go to a psychologist. You had to have a full evaluation. Oh, so that was just what, one thing, right? They just go in there and they just prescribe you the stuff? No. So first thing they do is extensive. They test and they talk to you for, on average, 2+ years. They're looking to see if you're depressed, trauma. Were you on the spectrum, even though they didn't know what the spectrum was at that time? Were you conflating this with homosexuality, which was a big thing, psychosis, trauma? And by then, many of them had dropped out. They were rejected because they're like, this person is not what they think they are. So from there, if you get through that gauntlet, okay, not, hey, you're 15, we're gonna take those off for you, okay? Then you had what they call the RLT, which is the real life test. You had to do that for 2 years, and not only did you have 2 years.
Wow.
Some got away with it for a year and a half, but on average, it was over 2+ years. Patients had to live full-time, and not full-time as in, today I feel like it, tomorrow I don't. You had to go to work, social life, public identity, no surgery allowed whatsoever, none of this stuff. And here's the thing. If you ended up losing your job, if you ended up having situations with, you couldn't pull it off, they would tell you no, you can't do it. So then if you get through that, so we're looking at 4 years, guys. I think this was 8.5, 9 months, something like that. If you get through that, now you can have hormone therapy that would last small dosages, tiny dosages. They didn't just go, here, take as much as you want. That would take on average 1.5 to 2 years. Then at that point, after anywhere between 5 and 7 years, then you could have, because at that point in time, you're pretty committed. And what some of the psychologists and some of the doctors back in the day said is that 6 to 7 year thing, that 7-year itch, that's what they were looking to see. So, and the dosages, the micro dosages were so small that it would really have no effect if you wanted to go off them compared to what they're doing to them now, which is crazy. So that was one of the other things this guy said. So this guy, he followed the whole thing. There was some damning stuff in here, even from people that are, treat transgenderism as something that if you go through a lot of these steps it may benefit you.
Well, I've certainly spoken with other litigators, other lawyers in this field, and they do feel that this will embolden others to join the field. Others have been waiting on the sidelines. So there are about 27 other similar cases that I've been able to tabulate. Some of them run into statutes of limitations where there's a short period of time after which you can file a lawsuit. But there's one coming up in Missouri in August, and also very big one, Chloe Cole, probably the most famous detransitioner. Her trial against Kaiser Permanente will be in California in April.
That is going to be the big one. She's the one that's out everywhere. She's the one that's talking to everybody. She's the one that is been so. Her story, like a lot of these, you go in and the first day they're giving you, all the stuff. Like, yeah, here, knock yourself out. And what was one of the big things that they told you for years well, if you don't do this, suicide. None of that was real.
It was very powerful. I think in particular, we've heard a lot about this talk about suicide, about that these treatments and surgeries prevent suicide. And to hear this mother to say that she was opposed to the surgery from the start, that she was browbeaten by the psychologist, in her words, and to ultimately consenting, even though she never wanted it. And then we heard from Dr. Lauren Schechter, and he's the head of gender-affirming surgery at Rush University in Chicago. And he said he's also, by the way, the president-elect of the World Professional Association for Transgender Health. And he said...
And you know what he said? He said, no, that's a lie. Absolute lie. He said that entire thing is a lie about suicide if you don't do it.
And he said that these surgeries are not suicide prevention. So that was a very powerful moment.
And I remember, well, I've heard it from a bunch of people we've interviewed in the past, and Elon Musk talked about it. Elon Musk said when his kid was going through all that, the doctor said to him, would you rather have a living son or a dead daughter, kind of thing. And yeah, it isn't.
Because you need to buy what I'm selling to have the living son.
And look, some of these doctors and that I've talked to in the past, and we'll try to get some up, but their fear has always been it's either now or later. Because if I don't do what a lot of these kids are professing, the activists come after me and they want to steal my license and they try to destroy me. But I also know at some point in time there's probably going to be a reckoning. And it's sad. It's sad because you take advantage of, in particular, really young girls who are vulnerable, who are going through a hard time in life anyways, struggling with their bodies as every, teenager starts to do. Many of them are on the spectrum, and this is what happens. And when people talk, well, it's about the activists. Remember, this is a job to them. Chris and I, because Chris said, we were talking about this before, and I didn't hear him earlier, but we were talking about this before, and I said, Chris, do you think today if they solved homelessness that the homeless shelters would disappear? No, they would become something else because it's a business. I mean, look, God bless them, it's a good, but that's what it is. It's a business. And so was the movement for, marriage equality and equality and rights in the workforce. But once they achieve that, the gays are like, see ya, we're good. They weren't. It's a business. And wanted to keep it going. And now it's going to cost them a lot more than I think people realize. All right, coming up, got some Super Bowl news. I'm pretty excited about that. We can say Super Bowl, right?
I don't know.
I'm assuming, because usually they come and sue you. You can only see the big game or whatever. But, but I don't think because we're not promoting it. Like endorsing a thing. I think it's okay.
I think if you're talking about it in the context of a story or news or something like that.
Yeah, because I don't want to be sued by Roger Goodell, okay? Jeez, Bad Bunny will be over here in a couple hours.
He'll be on mic chastising you.
Oh, goodness. We'll talk about that amongst other things straight ahead. Chad Benson Show. Super Talk 997. Super Bowls this weekend. They have so many. That place is so protected. 50 agencies, the air, the water, everything you can think of is protected, which is as you need, right? I don't know if I heard Trump wasn't going. Now I hear he is going. So I think he is.
The last thing I read was that he wasn't.
But now I heard that he was. And he did the halftime interview. That was, for the average person, I think that was the biggest tell that Biden was done. He didn't do that halftime interview for the Super Bowl.
Oh, that's right.
Remember that?
Yeah.
Like, there is nothing they were not going to ask Biden anything like, do you like applesauce? Like, that's the kind of stuff. And he couldn't do it. He couldn't do it. And like that, you were going to get no better coverage as far as the amount of eyeballs. And he said no. He said no.
No, Jack.
No, we beat Medicare. What? Did you? Poor Medicare.
I used to play football.
Can you imagine being one of his advisors at the debate when that came out of his mouth? It would have just been like, oh my God.
I don't even know how. First of all, how do you try to spin that? And do you remember that night too? They got on a plane And the doctor dragged his ass to like Detroit. And she's like, Joe, you were so good, right, Joe? The doctor. You know, she could have been.
I do remember that. Yeah, it's like she was congratulating a kindergartner on their drawing.
You did so good.
Joe.
We're going to put that on the refrigerator.
Yeah, man.
Oh, God, that was. They should have been brought up on charges for elder abuse.
And some of those stories he would go off and tell, too. Those were hilarious.
They were all over the place. He started talking about just some of those stories, yelling at people, asking for the dead.
Well, and the story that he told about he and she were driving around China, just riding around China.
Yeah.
Just all of a sudden he said, she asked him, what do you think America is?
And every time he talked about the trains. Oh. When I used to ride on the train, Jimmy was his name.
Yeah.
I took over 75,000 rides with Jimmy. And they're like, Jimmy retired before you ever got on the train. He was so out of it. And he was president. There you go. Hello, America. Although his last lucid moment was America, I'm sorry. I know you guys don't believe that. But he looked at everybody and said, I want to congratulate Kamala Harris for being the nominee. Oh, lordy.
Yeah, dude, whenever he endorsed her right off the bat.
That was the game.
I guarantee Obama threw something through the window.
Oh, absolutely. 100%. 100%. All right, coming up, hour number 2 of the program. Chad Benson, Super Tough, 997.